Welcome to episode 1 of the Hidden Gems podcast. I'm Love City, here at the lovely studio at the warehouse on Watts. I'm here with...
Watts Studio.
Watts Studio. All right, cool. You heard from Expo.
What's up?
And we also have Jabair here in the studio.
Yes, sir.
We're kicking off a new podcast here, and we want to thank you for tuning in. So let's get right into it, gentlemen. The reason that we are doing this podcast is, and that was open-ended because I wasn't really sure yet.
Well, we started this thing. Love City and Jabair started this thing, Hidden Gems, and I joined in on the second round because I crutched over there in the rain and played some beats on the first Hidden Gems where, I guess...
You've been there since day one.
Yeah. You guys set the platform though, and I came with the beats, and then we came rolling through. So
and your expertise.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So, Hidden Gems, just open aux for producers, come through and play some beats, and we're all producers, DJs. So just opened it up for musicians to get together and play some new shit.
Yeah.
So now this is the podcast.
So there's the party, and when is the next Hidden Gems party?
The one after this one? Because it's tonight.
Yeah, that was what I was hinting at.
Okay,
I was trying to get you to say it. It's tonight. It's tonight. But since you're probably listening to this, this isn't live, so it will have already happened. So I guess when is our next one? It's January 9th, right?
I'm not sure.
We don't know.
Yeah. I think we said the second week of January.
Second Wednesday in January.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then I think we're gonna do it first Wednesdays from then on, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the plan here at Warehouse on Watts. Lovely new home of Hidden Gems. So yeah, it's a party. It's Philadelphia's first open mic party for producers and songwriters, where you can just bring in your creation on your phone or some type of playback device, iPod, if you got one of those laying around, and you can sign up for a slot to play your beat at the party.
I was just blessed with an iPod, by the way, like old school iPod, real thick one, still
the classic,
got the old plug, like the old adapter.
I love those. That's a gem.
Yeah, shout out to Samola because it's filled with all this crazy music on it, like from all over the place. So, it was a couple months ago. I was sitting there with him and one of our friends, just like, yo, I got to go digging. I need some new things to sample. And both of them knew about this, like, the way they explained it was just like this crazy iPod that was just like a hidden gem. It's got all these gems on it. So like, I was like, hook me up with this. Where is it? So we had to go through all this trouble to find it because it was at one of their friends' house that broke up with their girlfriend, and the girlfriend had it, but they tracked it down for me and got me this iPod. And it's dope. There's a lot of crazy shit on there.
I feel like that's the best way to come across music, just in general.
On like a buddy comedy adventure.
Yeah.
Across the
like I feel like
city.
All my favorite samples are like things that you kind of hold on to that are like really close to you, like happened for some wild reason.
Yeah.
Like even stuff, I think one of my favorite like kick drum samples came from some random Russian record that Cosmo just happened to be playing one day at Scratch. And I was like, yo, drum
kick.
slap on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to record that in the Ableton real quick and hold on to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
true.
what's up. That's the best way to get drums, too, when you find, like, when you handpick and sample your own drums. Before there were kits and all this stuff, the easy download, like, when you really were just like, I'm going to jack some drums off old records.
Right. Because, essentially, at that point, it's yours. Like, you can layer it with something else, but don't think anyone's coming after you for a kick drum sample. But you never know. I don't know.
That'd be really hard to find.
Wow. Yeah. Can you own just a kick drum sound?
I don't think so. I mean,
This is like Eric Prydz own that like
the
that
Preda
reverby-
snare,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't. Isn't it just
I
snare
don't,
with
I'm not even
reverb?
saying his name right.
Eric Prydz. Is it
Prydz.
Prydz or Prides?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's got a crazy light show. That's the only thing.
But that snare, you know, like
Yeah.
right before the drop that everybody has done
Oh, yeah.
since then.
I don't think you can own it because from like 2012 to 2016 when Big Room was the wave,
Yeah.
everybody had that
Everybody
snare
had that snare.
before the drop. So I don't
I hope they at least bought his record.
know.
Yeah, you could find like, I mean, there's been countless times that I've sampled drums off of records like that. That's my favorite way to do it. But I remember back in the day, like before everything was so easy, you know, because I've been producing since I was literally 12 is when I started like looping and chopping and learning how to make beats.
Wow.
But even back then, like I found like DJ Premier drum kit like on eBay or something.
Yeah.
So I didn't. It's not like I downloaded it. I bought it off eBay
Yeah.
and it came in CDs and I
Right.
loaded it up and like just went through the ones that I was like, yeah, this sounds like some Premier Blasts. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a Kanye West kit propeller refill for Reason 2.5.
There you go.
Off eBay as well.
That's it right there. I think I'm still going through, was it Ultimate Breaks and Beats?
Oh shit.
It's like the
Yeah.
4-disc
yeah,
orange sleeve jump off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing but heat in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got like all the drum breaks.
Yeah, that's gold.
Yeah.
I have shit like that. Like I have that collection that I've only gone through like a quarter of it.
Yeah.
And like I've got the breaks and I've like put them, you know, they're in Serato. I'll drop them sometimes, but I still only like a small selection that I'll use that because I haven't even gone through all of them.
Right. I mean,
It was a good
that's-
jumping off point for me though. Like the first time I went through like all those records, I didn't know like they weren't all household name artists to me.
Yeah.
So it did definitely give me a good education to help me like dig deeper into other catalogs. But I agree, like they weren't all those records weren't for me.
It's when you
But-
first find it though, and you're just like, oh shit. Like this
Yeah.
break was used on this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They've been used to death, but they're the shit though. Classic.
Jabair, when did you get into production?
I feel like when I first like started messing around with music, I was probably 13 or 14. Me and my brother kind of had like this little like janky ass Gemini CDJ type jump off.
Nice.
So I think me and him would fuck around with it, just like, and our dad had a huge CD collection.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he had vinyl records, but it was mostly like he was on that CD wave, which was just like sometimes he make me alphabetize that shit, which was ridiculous. it was like
Your dad made you do that?
Yeah, my dad made me alphabetize his shit.
He didn't know. He was like, it was homework. He was
Right,
like,
I don't thi-
preparing you.
I don't even know if he was preparing me because it's like still one of those things where I'm like, can't believe you used to make me alphabetize that shit and like put it in the fucking cases and shit. But he had heat on there. That I think that was like kind of what got me started. Because he used to travel a lot, so he used to always be at like Tower Records and shit. And you know, the first Ministry of Sound CD I ever listened to was from my pops. The first Daft Punk record I listened to was from my pops. The first Craig David record I listened to was from my pops. So,
shit.
and Dan will tell you hear a lot of like UK influence shit and a lot of the things I do.
Yeah.
So that definitely has something to do with it. I mean, kind of going along with that, I think I was the first one of my friends that like could figure out how to record our freestyles into GarageBand or whatever, like the cracked FL Studio on like my home computer, the family computer that would eventually die from LimeWire and Kazaa.
We all did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, building off that, after that, it was kind of Like, I'd fuck around in FL Studio, make beats that were terrible, but we could freestyle over, and I could get the recording. And then it kind of just like, I feel like for everyone, it just kind of builds on that.
Yeah.
Like, I got a machine, and then I'm like, I used one of my paychecks to buy Ableton, and then later
it was
on,
enough to trigger that like desire to learn the next step.
Yeah,
and like continue trying to find your.
Yeah, it was gonna definitely, and even just growing up in the area, like we would come to Philly on Sunday nights to hear like all the Jersey Club dudes play.
Yeah,
and I feel like Jersey Club, is just really a huge influence on me, just because that was like our EDM for there was definitely a regional thing. Like not everyone was fucking with that.
Yeah.
When it was like K Swift and KW Griff making records and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's the long version.
It's good.
That's what's up.
And if you didn't know, Jabair is an Ableton instructor recently at Scratch Academy. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Is it over now? Like just in Philly or everywhere?
So I guess like I think the thing with Scratch is that it got too big too fast. I mean,
as a larger company, because it's in multiple cities, right? It's New York and LA, and
so I think the ones that are open now is New York, LA, and Miami, and then
Philly was the new one in town, the new
new
Philly, franchise.
I mean, I feel like when you're part of a big company like that, the new one's always going to be the first to kind of get cut.
Yeah,
and it wasn't anything. We were actually doing really well. But it's one of those things when you're working for a big company, everyone has to be doing well.
Yeah,
for you
exactly.
To, like, it comes down to dollar signs.
Exactly. Hey, shout out to Cosmo Baker for bringing that to Philly for a time. It was definitely like a fun era. That's where I met Expo for the first time.
Yeah.
That was where I met Cosmo for the first time.
They would have all types of, I guess it was a Serato came through and we're showing the sample plugin, and all the DJs in town, all the producers in town were there. It's like kind of rare in Philly that for us to all get together like that. So that it was a cool thing to have for a little while.
Definitely.
So that's when No. Well, you're gonna.
I was gonna have Love City share how he got started.
Okay. Well, I want to hear that.
Since we're going around.
I was going to say, I just wanted to throw in there that I won that Serato sample thing.
I tried to let that slip by that there was a beat battle.
Just got to slide that in there.
No, because I read it on the post that day, the Instagram post that's when I found out that Scratch Academy was having a producer battle with at the end of the Serato sample, and there was a prize package, and I was like,
yeah.
I told my roommate that day, I was like, yo, I'm going to go there. I'm going to win this shit. And I went there, and there's a lot of, Love City right here, killed this shit. So, I wasn't sure if I was going to win, honestly, but, we got first and second right here. So.
Yeah, we did all right.
We had 15 minutes.
Yeah. 15 minutes to make a beat with a plugin that it was Serato sample.
Yeah,
which I hadn't tried.
Yeah, it was everyone's first day on Serato sample too.
Yeah.
Which is definitely.
It was actually
you were there. You were there, right?
He was a judge.
But I was an instructor, so I couldn't.
All right,
I couldn't participate.
Otherwise, we'd be talking about how we got second and third, probably, or not. Maybe who knows?
Oh shit! Hidden gems. Hidden gems.
What I'm saying is
beat battle.
What I'm saying is we got a talented crew here.
It's beef.
It's beef.
Yeah,
So, Dan, tell us your story.
Man, my story. My father was a pastor when I was growing up, and my family was super strict, and I wasn't even really allowed to listen to any type of music until I was a teenager. So that's kind of a weird way to start out, but
mine's similar though. My mom's took my May CD.
Damn.
Yeah. They were like, "What are you listening to in the back seat with my Discman?" And they put it in the car. Like they wanted to see what I was listening to. They put it in the car and it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was a wrap from there.
I feel like that happened to me too. It wasn't a Mace CD though.
Didn't he become a preacher?
Yeah,
Ironically,
yeah.
full
circle on the
circle.
story. Yeah. All right, go ahead though. My bad.
Yeah,
But yeah, when I was growing up, I used to, excuse me, I used to go to this roller skating rink when I was like maybe 11 or 12, and that was the first place where I was really like exposed to like normal music, and sort of in that experience, like sort of skating around the loop, having a good time, and then sort of observing for the first time like that there was a little head up in a window in the corner that was like that I came to find out was the person that was choosing all those records and was the DJ, and just the fact that someone like hides up in a corner and sort of like shares music with people that like affects the like their mood or whatever.
Yeah.
Helps them like groove.
Makes them
on
shuffle.
some roller skates. Yeah, makes them shuffle. Plus, this was like in the mid 90s, and the DJ was playing like straight up like
Stevie B.
Open format. Like he was
Yeah.
playing, you know. I guess they sort of credit people later on for developing open format, but back in those days, like he was scratching and blending like, you know, Nirvana into, you know, a freestyle record, into, you know, a house record, into a hip hop record. Like it was very, very open format. And it was really cool. Like he was really talented. And I just like as a kid just sort of became fascinated with that and ended up like bothering him to the point of him letting me like sort of like quietly, like basically just shut me up, let me like sit up there and watch. And then, you know, I'm kind of an observer. I like to like see how things work and then figure it out for myself. And that was it. I started buying records, I started buying gear. And so DJing is what got me into all this. But at the same time, I had a guitar and I was writing songs. I played harmonica and
Oh shit.
I wrote all these songs on guitar, and I would go to open mics and I would sing my songs. And that's kind of how we got to the Hidden Gems idea. Is I just come from a background of open mics and sort of wanted to see something like that for producers to get to like see people, you know, react to their music in real time. And it's such a helpful thing for a young producer to see like how people react to your music. It helps you realize like, you know, this breakdown is like not going to work because I watched everybody like check their phones during it, you know?
I feel like that's not to get off topic, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's important, especially now, because there are like a lot of young dope producers who don't come from a DJ background, so they'll either don't get the opportunity or they just don't know how to read a crowd in general because we haven't had to deal with a crowd.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's my perspective is I want everyone to win. Like I want these young kids that are making dope shit to be able to perform at a
Right.
high level too. You
Yeah.
know, so I think the only way you can do that is to actually go out and see how people react. You know,
Totally.
so
Totally. Yeah. It taught me everything I needed to know as a younger kid, like with my guitar, you know.
Yeah.
I got to like learn lessons quickly just because like I found out that I couldn't hit all those notes, or I couldn't play all those chords or remember all those lyrics,
right.
or, you know, or something worked. And I got this, you know, I got the thrill of like seeing people clap for something that like I made, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like, that's such a thrill, you know? Obviously. So, you know, through DJing, I sort of took a break from writing music on guitar. I just used to write this like sad music, you know? And it kind of just led to just kind of a sort of a sad mindset, I guess, you know. It was like a character kind of,
Yeah.
but it, you know, it's just hard. It's hard to like do that all the time, you know.
Getting in the feels.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's what's up.
Yeah, you got to.
So, you know,
singer songwriter, Love City DJs.
But I was DJing. You know,
Did you have long hair?
I did.
was this pre Westchester? When did you move to Westchester? Because we're both from Westchester.
Yeah, this was like
suburban.
I was living in like Exton at this time.
Yep.
I
There's
kind
nothing
of
in
hovered in that
Exton.
area until not 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, when I made the move to the city full time.
Yeah. Shout out to make the move to the city. Me and Love City DJs.
Yeah, no doubt.
Westchester. What's up?
I did that from Jersey.
See, we're all transplants.
You got to at some point.
Yeah,
You're here like how many times a week, and it's just
Right,
like
Yeah, it just makes sense at some point to like save yourself the late night drives and just, you know, be where the action is, for sure.
my hand was forced.
Yeah,
I
tell us.
had a DUI, my number 3. Not the thing I'm really like the most proud thing to talk about,
Right.
but you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
So they banned me for life from driving in Jersey. So I was just like, yo, I have to go somewhere where like I can just get everywhere I want by
Right.
walking or taking like public transportation. So
crutching.
yeah, I mean,
Damn,
I
and
was
it's-
over here. I
and-
was over here all the time.
And you're
anyway.
over here trying to do the right thing, and you get hit by a car.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right?
If a lot of people, if you don't know Expo, if you're just joining the podcast for the first time, since it's our first episode, my man Expo got hit by a car a couple months ago, right?
Yeah, man. July 18th,
July 18th.
right down the street on
That's
Gerard,
the
man.
weekend.
Yeah, so I'm still recovery, walking with a cane, but yeah, my brain was bleeding. Had I was in ICU for 48 hours. That subsided. You know, I woke up in the hospital after I got hit, and 21 screws in my leg, 3 surgeries. There's 3 plates in my leg, so my leg got it the worst. I'm fine besides for that, but you know, just walking it off right now. Just getting back to using both feet.
Yeah. Damn.
But it's been cool, man. Everybody's been real cool and supportive, and you know, moved into a new place. Did a lot in the last like 5 months
Yeah.
that I've been down and out. So like, you know,
You
it's
say
life.
down and out, but your attitude has been extremely positive from my observation. Every time I
appreciate
see
that,
you,
man.
you got like you got a really positive way of looking at things. So
Well, thanks,
I know
man.
you've been
I-
working hard too. So
It's just it is what it is. I don't know what I can change about it. You know what I mean? I
Right.
can't. So it's just like, you know, just stay working and see why this happened for my benefit. Really is the only thing.
Finishing up a lot of beats.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I didn't know. I knew you got hit by a car. I didn't know the whole story, so that's what's up.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That
And you'd
shit
be
is
walking
crazy.
in a couple weeks, right?
What happened?
We'd be walking without a cane in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I don't
or-
know how long they're gonna
Yeah.
have me with it, but like, you know, it's just all better from here, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I don't know when next checkup they're gonna tell me something different. So
Right.
that's gonna be in a couple weeks.
That's what's up.
But yeah, man, I've been in the scene for a minute. Like just like in Philly, I came up on the underground hip hop scene, like heavy. So, you know, I started DJing when I was young. I grew up in a recording studio. Like pretty much, my dad co-owned a recording studio. He was great piano player.
nice.
He was the like musician, singer, keyboardist, and it was just similar to your story. My dad was like the music director of a big church.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up seeing my dad like perform and play all
Yeah.
the time. So like that was just second nature. Like every week I'm seeing my dad play on stage for like, it was a big church. There was a lot of people there. So it just, you know, grew up around music and was always like at rehearsals and all this stuff, you know, choirs and big bands and like orchestras like would come in for like special things. So like I always saw that. And when I was like 12, I went into the studio because I was real excited because there was going to be like a home studio.
Yeah.
Like my dad was bringing like when this was like an actual thing where you could have like everything on a Mac and you could, you know, do stuff like in the box, is when he was going to bring it home so he could work on his keyboard, you know, his piano album,
Right.
like all piano instrumentals and stuff like that. So I was like geeked out that was going to happen and I could make beats. So I started going to the studio like more and actually just sitting with his business partner, Rich, who was the producer engineer, and he just like showed me how to loop and chop. And I was in there like I would ride my bike to the studio. My friends would come, and like my one friend Anthony's girlfriend, like I was recording her on the mic, and she had this crazy laugh. So I just chopped her laugh up and like threw her in the beat, and it was just like. Even like Rich, like the guy who told me was like looking at me like, you did this? Like, well, how'd you even think about doing that? And I was just like, I don't know, like making
about
sounds.
what age was this?
I was in like 7th grade. I was like 12 or 13, like
Okay,
right around then.
Wow.
Yeah. So like from there, when I was 16, I met this dude Cream, and he was 28 when I met him, and I started like I just had some beats that I was making, you know, like just some stuff that we had a mutual friend, and my friend was way older than me. Like I was 16, he was like 22 or something like that, and like worked with him. And he was like, yo, this dude's nice. So he brought him through, and I started making beats for him. And I thought I was like a young P. Diddy. I started a record label, did all this shit, and like booked all these shows. So, you know, that went on, and we had a little dispute, and like I wasn't working on stuff for Cream anymore, and I was always writing. So I started rapping myself, and like it was just in the underground circuit. And like I used to listen to stuff like even I DJ, but I was just like heavy underground, like Wu Syndicate. You know what I mean? Like stuff that wasn't like just some sad shit, like some true story poetry shit, like some crazy. So, you know, I still do that in like my production, because I work with, you know, Sensi Star. You know, I'm a part of Sensi Star. I work with a lot of artists and rappers from like East Coast all over the place, like Philly, Jersey, New York, and so I still do a lot of slower stuff and like just more like hard hitting stuff that isn't necessarily for the dance floor, or necessarily for like a pop record. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's been a journey, man. I've been doing it for a minute, so it's like, you know, I've seen the whole thing evolve, and you know, met a lot of dope artists, and just did a lot of dope shit along the way. And like really right now, just my goal is just make the hardest shit, just make the dopest beats, you know? So
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome. Do you have any projects you're working on right now that you can tell us about? Like just one thing that you're working on right now that you're excited about?
So we just decided, me and Tab, who's another producer, another artist, singer, rapper, who's part of Sensi Star. Man's a genius. Like I've made a few beats, you know, a handful of beats with him. I've gone to his studio up in North Jersey, but like we've had retreats where we go to the Poconos and we all take a bunch of psychedelics and just create and have like hours and hours of recordings. Like me on the drum pad, him on the samples, and then my samples and him on the drums, like vice, you know, just going back and forth. And it definitely made a lot of crazy shit. Like we got a lot of like just the kind of shit that you don't normally like go into a record trying to produce. You know what I mean? Like it's all like that extra, like off kilter, like all the stuff that you want to get, like you can really get from a session like that. But so me and him are linking up for this project, and even some of the samples, some of the stuff we chopped from the retreat, we call it Writer's Retreat. Yeah. But me and him are gonna co-produce an EP for this guy Cambada. Nice. If you're familiar with Cambada, he's from New Haven, Connecticut, but he's been in New York, Bronx, New York for a while. Crazy MC, and I'm looking forward to it. I've worked with him before, you know, for a few times, so.
Looking forward to hearing that.
That's the main thing. Like we just decided we're going to do that. So we got a couple beats deep on it. Actually, the one I was just in the studio working on is going to be for Bada. And besides for that, doing some more like, you know, that's one lane. I want to knock it out fast. You know, I just got like 3-month goals right now. Do that, and I'm going to do something else like more on the, you know, it's like some kind of trap future beats, like future bass, like type shit.
All right. Jabair, how about you? What do you got going on now?
Let's see. Right now, I think I just have a bunch of kind of singles that are due out. I got one joint with my girl Vanessa that's been in the works for a while. I'm really excited about that. It's probably my first pop record. I like it. I always feel like the term like pop music always like gets it's almost like a derogatory term, but I think you can make good pop music.
Michael Jackson was the king of pop. You can't. Right. How can it be bad?
No.
Just saying it though. Saying it though is funny though. Yeah. It's like you want to be like, yeah, I make pop. Like, is it pop until it's popular? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's like,
that's my understanding. I'm like,
because pop can be anything.
like
you know?
Drake is pop music.
Yeah.
You know, but so's the Migos.
Yeah.
You know, that's pop music. You know, just so happens to be pop music is
I think
hip-hop music,
almost
right?
any
So is
style-
MGMT. You know what I mean?
almost
Like,
any style of music can have pop music within it. It's like a way to make it that makes it popular.
Yeah.
Like sort of like
it's a certain structure and formula.
yeah.
But I think
It appeals to a broad audience. That's
Right.
all it means.
Yeah.
I think you can finesse the formula. I think cheesy pop just sticks with the formula. You know, it goes with what works. But you can finesse the formula and kind of make it something that's yours, and it's actually kind of dope. So,
Well, absolutely. I mean, but there's still a formula to that.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah.
it's just my favorite shit is when it like takes you by surprise, and it's like not that's my favorite kind of stuff that is pop that
Right.
that makes it to one of my playlists. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, you could. Like, I think I was having this conversation. You could kind of put like a Muramasa or Keitra into the realm of pop music now. You know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's still great music. You know, it's all great music. But you know, they're definitely underground artists that just had a sound that turned into what's popular. You know?
Yeah, but things go from underground to mainstream really fast now.
Yeah.
You know?
We just consume stuff super fast.
Yeah.
You know, I guess back on topic, my first single will be out in the next couple weeks with my homie Derek De La Bucks on vocals. I'm really excited about that because I feel like that's probably the first thing that's a lot of people know me for doing remixes and doing stuff that's sample heavy. So this is all non-sample based. It'll be, won't have to clear anything. There'll probably be some remixes and things afterwards. So I'm excited about that. If you don't know Derek, he's part of my other band that I work with, Elective, which is kind of all groovy funk based stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's me, Derek, and Anthony Hughes, also known as 2100. He's playing a lot of guitar and then helps on the production tip too. So
this is the single you're talking about.
this is the single. This is just my single. We have a couple other singles for Elective coming out in January.
We should have them on the podcast.
Yeah, they'd be down. They'd be good on the podcast.
What's the group called?
Elective?
Okay.
Yeah. So we've had one joint come out so far.
I love it.
Love
Love City approved.
But I'm excited for people to hear Derek because I think he's a vocalist from Philly. It's not well known, and he's dope. He's really good. And I think you guys both heard the record already. But I'm super excited for him because I think he's going to get more collaboration and other opportunities outside of what he's already working on. Outside of that, even if it's just my small little platform, I think people are gonna kind of catch a vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, like, still doing remixes and stuff. I did like a little mixtape, which was called Lucy's. It did really well. And it's kind of the first time I made people pay for something on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. And
It was all originals.
It was all edits and remixes. So it was a full pack of like shit that usually just lives on my laptop and I'll play during DJ sets. And then finally it was just like,
Oh, see, I gotta find this shit. I'm learning a bunch of shit today. Like we've all chopped it up and done shit together, but like we really don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I feel like we're all, everyone's like the three of us in general, just always working, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But you don't always get to catch up with everybody, which I kind of think is like the point of Hidden Gems too.
yeah,
It's like, what are you working on?
Exactly.
Yeah. And now we have bringing it all back. Now we have this space where you can connect with either one of us besides, whoever else is coming through. Like, you never know who's going to come through, whether it's rappers, singers, other engineers, producers. And there's a lot of talent in Philly, which is a gift and a
Definitely.
curse. It's a lot of talent packed into, something about the size of Brooklyn,
It's true. It's
So-
true.
I think it's dope. I think it's dope that we're seeing more things for producers too. That's why I was excited to be a part of this. Like the Parlor, you know, Boss, the Tiny Room for Elephants doing their thing. So
Yes.
Yeah.
there's a lot of dope shit, man. There's a lot of things coming up for producers.
Backyard Bass, True Wave.
Yeah.
True Wave.
Philly's got like a slept on.
We got an underrated scene
Yeah.
that's bubbling up.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that's always been the term for Philadelphia. It's like underrated,
Yeah.
underappreciated.
Yeah.
And I think collectively, you know, we can push it to the point where it is appreciated. It does have the same capital as a New York. You know, what are they doing different than us?
Yeah.
It's very keeping 100.
Yeah, I've heard so many things. Like even I forget what was that record store on? Was it on Third? Like in like I don't know, like
Armand's?
Northern Liberties. No.
Oh.
Armand's was the shit.
Yeah.
That was my spot. I
Yeah,
used to
I
take
know.
the Paco over from Jersey to go to Armand's.
I'm so
like,
upset that I wasn't in Philly and I wasn't coming up during the like really height of Armand's, because everyone that I talked to is just like Armand's fucking gold mine,
yeah.
you know, and it's just like one of those things that, you know, when you're not from the city, you're from outside the city, you kind of miss out on.
Yeah. Trips into the city on the weekend for
Yeah,
records or whatever. It's
like
different.
in Exxon, we have Coconut Records.
we had the Downingtown Farmers Market
Yeah.
record store.
Whack.
Oh shit.
I got mad shit in there though.
Shout out to like LimeWire and Kazaa, because without that, who
Yeah.
knows?
I used to switch the sleeves and put like James Brown records in the dollar bin sleeves.
See, I started going to record stores. Like there was a place around me in Jersey, Music Factory, I think it was. But I mean, I got my first set of turntables when I was like 15, something like that. So I started going over to you know, I started getting records because there wasn't anything like there was CD, not even CDJs back then. I don't think, like if there was, they were way too much for me to afford. Like, but I had turntables and I would just go get records. That's all I knew. So I would get a bunch of records. That's when I found out about Armand's. But I had the Invisible Scratch Pickles record, like all the battle records, like they were my favorite shit. And I used it. I ended up using it more for cutting and for like sampling and producing, like as it went. So.
Yeah. I feel like we should wrap it up. This is a good first.
Good first episode.
It was nice to talk to you guys and meet you guys.
Yeah.
Like that's what's up.
So just to reiterate, this is the Hidden Gems podcast. We're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. And this is our first one, so we wanted to introduce ourselves a little bit and give you a little bit of our background. Next month might be more of, you know, what you could come to expect from us, but we just figured we'd get out here and get the ball rolling.
Get the introductions out the way.
Yeah.
Well, tell them what's on the up ahead for Hidden Gems. So, like, what do we?
We're about to go downstairs. We're at Warehouse on Watts right now.
Warehouse on Watts.
And in Watts Studio is my home. And recording this podcast, we're about to go downstairs. About to bounce this beat I just finished and play it, plug it in the aux and play it with one of the producers. You know what I mean?
The true
Get it
spirit
started.
of Hidden Gems. Trying, like, waiting, like, working up until the last minute and trying to get it perfect so it sounds good on the big speakers, and then getting in here.
Yeah, show and prove. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's like some real hip hop shit. Except also an open mic, so it kind of is a little other shit too.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do this. We're gonna start doing bring up some live producer sets. People, you know, some producers that want to do some shit live, like almost like a DJ. Launch some stems, do some finger drumming and all that shit.
Yeah, and I think you'll hear from some guests in the future.
Some interviews.
Some of our collaborators, some of our friends, some of our peers, and some of our guests at the party. And if you're listening, when you're listening to this, you will have missed the one that we're talking about tonight. But next month, you can catch us on the second Wednesday of January.
Got it.
That's it for Hidden Gems #1. Thank you for tuning in, fellas. We out.
Peace.
Out.